ball is kind of disgusting, y'all. Heckin' urethane is doing the work, y'all.
Brunswick's Crown 78U releases on December 11th, and this is one of those polarizing kind of releases because we've all seen what happens when you put a real urethane cover on a bigger core. There's a twist here, though, that pulls it together and makes it all work, and that's especially interesting for me considering my history with urethane right-handed. Hashtag heckin' urethane for those that go back. Test pattern is Kegel Chromium at Royal Crest Lanes in Lawrence, Kansas. Many thanks to Jessy, Larry, Rocky, and company for always taking care of us. And before I get into the layout adjustment I made, because this is a regular symmetric core, I guess you'd say, I just went with a regular layout. I'll talk about that a bit later. I made a small tweak to my layout in general, and not just for this ball, I did the same thing on the danger zones, but I nudged the pin a tad stronger to get a bit more continuous, and the drill angle / PSA to PAP number doesn't matter on a symmetric ball, so I moved it for a really abstract but kind of funny reason. I tuck my pinky, and for whatever reason, the majority of the time, the CG ends up right where my knuckle rests on the ball, and it drives me nuts, so I just moved it out of the way. The Crown 78U takes the tiered hexagon core from the Endeavor and perhaps more notably the Crown Victory. That one's been a pretty big hit. Basically 255 RG, 046 differential in 15 pounds. So medium to medium high RG, medium high amount of differential, and it does flare plenty. The cover is urethane solid 78D, and as far as I can tell, that means it's the solid version of the black hammer cover, and it comes at 1,000 grit. When people say, I don't know about urethane on a big core, are we really doing this again? The main key issue with the not so great stronger urethane balls before is that they were all lower RG. Black Widow urethanes, IQ78, Hot Cell, all very low RG, and when you put a heavily sanded, real urethane cover on a core like that, you've got early on top of early on top of early, and the result is a ball that's going to go nuts before the arrows, and then just die or turn into a marble the rest of the way down the lane. With the higher RG on this one, I think you can already see we have a much better situation to work with. It is typical urethane, so even though it's flaring, as we wipe oil off the ball, we're still kind of wiping oil around the ball, and because it doesn't absorb, some oil stays on the cover, which slows down the friction response, so while it's still flaring, the fresh cover that's exposed to the lane on every rotation isn't exactly dead fresh. Typically people drill regular urethane balls quite a bit stronger because they're super weak cores. Like the purple and black hammers are 265 RG and 015 differentials. That's very weak, so you can go stronger on them to buff them up a little. This core is already strong enough, so that's been people's mistakes on other stronger core urethane balls, I think, is that they're still drilling them strong because they're urethane without thinking, wait, you've got to pay more attention to the core here. If I go big strong layout, then I take this from being a mid-RG high-diff ball to a low-RG high-diff ball, and then we're right back into the same problems that other low-RG urethane balls have historically had. So that's why I drilled this one, just like I drilled the Danger Zones, or would drill the regular reactive Crown Victory. Regular layout and just let the ball be what it was designed to be, and that's how we find out what the story really is here. Obviously, with this being urethane, it won't be a typical review moving around, but we'll still hit the regular points. The reaction shape is kind of a continuous climbing arc. It's not quite perfectly round. That might just be the colors playing tricks on my eyes, but it's not quite as round, I don't think, as the black hammer. I think I can get it to be more directional if I would get up the back of it. Best conditions will definitely be fresh and tougher, but to start getting into this interesting reaction, I stayed in this first spot a little longer than I would have otherwise because I wanted to compare it to the new 2.0. I will have a separate video for that. Since the RG isn't so low, the ball doesn't rev up or roll nearly as early, so despite solid urethane at 1,000 grit, I still get a fair amount of length up front. It reads the lane pretty strongly and picks up around 30 feet, then the nice round, smooth but powerful finish down lane. It's definitely going to be a straighter ball, of course, but I can play deeper with it more successfully than I expected. I did go ahead and straighten up once I finally left the flat 10, but I think I could have stayed there and just slowed down if I'd have wanted to. To cover this now too, this isn't a purple hammer replacement, and there's several different factors there. The purple doesn't flare, it's definitely a fair amount earlier. The back end shapes are similar, but the purple is going to create carry down, and that's a whole different experience with what the ball is going to do to the lane. This ball, because of keeping some oil on the cover, is still going to create some small amount of carry down, but not nearly as much as the purple or the black will. I think we all know the kind of bowler types in play here. For lefty urethane users specifically, this is the one single time you'll ever hear me say must have. But if you're a lefty that uses the purple, the black, Rattler New, Shadow Tank, New Blue 2.0, I think this is one that fits in perfectly with that mix and is something that's going to be very useful and beneficial for you in tournaments. Honestly though, if it's urethane, lefties are already going to buy it regardless, so that's kind of a moot point. For righties, Hutch wasn't really a fan, but obviously it looks great for me, so figuring out the crowd for righties might be a little tougher. My game is the slow roll thing, so urethane for me as a righty always tended to look like this one does for Hutch. It's just either too early or too slow. I never could get the angles or the roll right. My mechanics are better now than they used to be, and I had to stop short of moving even just a little further right here because I bowled 16 games at a tournament over Thanksgiving weekend, and then I threw almost 12 here filming for the danger zones and this one, so the fingers got a little tender because I actually lift the ball with my fingers now instead of flailing my arm around like I'm starting a lawnmower like I used to, but I'd already seen everything I needed to see anyway. I also showed you every single shot that I threw with it outside of the first two that did the typical urethane thing and went dead left off of my hand. It was just such a good fit for my game, and I was so comfortable with it that outside of the couple flat corners and the couple that I tried to give extra business to, this just obviously worked perfectly for me. Just nice and easy, give it the roll and the float, it read the lane well, it picked up and continued, it didn't do the typical bigger core urethane thing of jerking and then just giving up or fluttering the rest of the way down the lane like the IQ78 does. I'm going to expand on this a lot more in the comparison video with the new 2.0, which will be very interesting, but I will recap it after the ads here. At 160 on Bowler's Mart, that's creeping up a little for a urethane ball. The urethane hammers and the new 2.0 are 150. IQ78 is 160 also. Shadow Tank is 194. So it's in the mix. It's not a deal, but it's not unreasonable either. It's kind of par for the course. You've heard the spiel enough. Search Positive Tales for the Rescue Collection on CoolWick. I also have a few signature items on there that I haven't mentioned in a while, so search my name to see all of that if you're interested. And of course, code Rosedal10 at checkout gets you 10% off non-fundraising and non-discounted items. Bowler's Mart link is in the description for all of your bowling needs, including the new Epic Evo 2D dual dial high performance shoes. They're my daily drivers now. I've used them in all my videos since I got them, including this one. Plus the review is actually the next thing at the top of the list. To preview the 2.0 comparison, I have this one right in between the 2.0 and the black. The black is the earliest and smoothest of the three, the 2.0 is the cleanest and the most responsive, and the crown is dead in the center of them. It's cleaner than the black, but earlier than the 2.0. It's sharper than the black, but smoother than the 2.0. What I need to do, though, is put a longer filming session on this one to see what it does to the lane, because that's where the major difference is going to show up. The black doesn't flare, so it's going to create a lot of carry down. The 2.0 flares just enough so that it will flare with a stronger layout, but won't flare with a weaker one, while this one flares a good bit even with a weaker layout, and that's going to do different things to the lane and the back end. But in my opinion, this one is a success. I think it's going to work well and have a place in the arsenal for more people than it won't. I will echo Hutch though, and like I said earlier, if you need a purple, throw a purple. This won't replace that. This is extra and different. Same with the black, same with the new 2.0. This is its own ball that fits in the mix. It doesn't replace anything. Once again, it releases on December 11th with the Danger Zones, which I also have reviews for and I'm very happy with. Really a pretty disgusting set of releases right before Christmas for Brunswick here. A lot of these will be under trees, I imagine. LiveCom is up next. This one was pretty simple, but I do have a lot of in-the-moment context and comments that are unique to the LiveCom, and members, of course, will get the full 16-minute version. Bowler's Mart link in the description to get one of these pre-ordered, and as always, if you have any comments or questions, please leave those down below.
Okay, y'all. This is actually going to be okay for me because it's smooth enough now. It shapes enough, but it's smooth enough to where it's gonna work for me. And I'm still shaping it a lot, but I'm gonna compare it to the new 2.0, and so I'm staying here for a minute to really see what's happening as I continue to throw the ball here. This ball is kind of disgusting, y'all. So this is, I think you can already tell, not black hammer. Just not black hammer. This is, I don't think it's as, because the new 2.0 is not responsive per se, but it picks up a little firmer, it reads the friction a little faster down lane than this one does. So I can just put it there and let it roll, and this is what I was hoping to see out of this ball, because a lower RG urethane, actually, this is actually urethane cover. A low RG, actually urethane cover ball does not act like this. It just doesn't. But the problem has been in the past, it's like, well, when they have more flare, typically they like pick up early and then they go and just go and go and go and go and go. Like the Black Widow or the Pink Widow is crazy. But, you know, something like this is magical. Okay, so it's starting to, now I was a little firmer with that one, but it's starting to slow down just enough that, well, this happened to the 2.0 too, as got a little bit of, got some shots on it, got some oil on it, got some real, getting some real oil on the cover here. That's not, this isn't the ball shiny. I mean, obviously it looks a lot shinier than it was when I started, but it's urethane, so it's not absorbing the oil, so when I'm wiping the ball off, it's kind of just smearing it around. But that's what you want for urethane. That's what gives you that read in the front, and then that's why it doesn't dig so hard down lane, because it's not dry cover. It's got a little bit of, you got a little bit of oil still on it, so it's kind of slowing down the response. So yeah, this is exactly what I was hoping to see. This is still, again, if you're thinking, okay, well, this is not a substitute for like black hammer, purple hammer. This is not like, oh, is it the purple hammer? This is not the purple hammer. Because the purple hammer digs in still a lot earlier. This one is getting me some pretty decent length. And then just a nice round. Okay, there's the flat 10 I was waiting on, but this allows me to kind of get through it and hit it a little bit more confidently. So, yeah, so now, okay, now that I left that, we're gonna move right.
This video was brought to you by Panda Bear Productions. We put the in bowling.